Hello everyone, welcome to We Love Soaps TV. I'm Roger Newcomb.
And I'm Damon L. Jacobs, author of Absolutely Shouldless, The Secret to Living the Stress-Free Life You Deserve. Still available on Amazon. Who knew? Who knew? And this is our wonderful special guest, our good pal, Mala Bhattacharjee.
Yes, I'm the news editor.
I practiced that in the mirror.
You practiced in the mirror?
So I would say it right.
Did you get confused?
Nope. Not this time.
All right,
It's taken me a year, but I'm good.
I'm the news editor for Soap Opera Weekly magazine. I'm glad to be here, folks.
Today we're going to look at the best of 2009 in some original and maybe not so original categories.
The best and what could have been better. So we're going to start. Why don't you start us off on our first category, Mala?
I guess, the first category has got to be the one that we're all thinking of, the best inanimate object.
Yay! Best inanimate object. Okay. So, give it.
We have to say it's Mr. Kitty, right?
Mr. Kitty.
Wynar's Mr. Kitty, with an honorable mention for, Nash's corpse on One Life to Live, who I thought gave a really, really moving performance.
It was Mr. Kitty for me. I mean, that cat was more talked about than like 95% of the actors on soaps this year.
Yeah.
Definitely got a lot of media attention.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to say though, my favorite inanimate object, aside from all the media press, were Pam's lemon tarts on Bold and the Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love those lemon tarts. I love the role those lemon tarts play in the story. And if I had to have a runner-up, I'd got to say Philip's hoodie on Guiding Light. Because that hoodie, when he had a life of its own every day for a month. I miss that hoodie. I miss Philip. I miss the hoodie. But I want to try one of Pam's tarts. That's all I got to say.
They're lemon bars.
Lemon bars.
Which actually, apparently, Alan Mills has a really good recipe for. So the next time I speak to her, maybe I'll try to hit her up for it.
I hate lemon bars, so I think I never could really get into that.
Okay, but these are Pam's lemon bars.
Yeah.
So they're special. You'll love these, Roger.
Maybe
we need to get her to send us some.
Maybe we should have like a soaps-themed cooking show next year, where we do a little like Ruby's chili, lemon bars, we'll like borrow someone's kitchen and
Allie Mills will be here on set.
Sunny's pasta. As long as we get Sunny's pasta, because I think that's the one thing Sunny Corinthos is consistently good at, aside from reproducing children, is making pasta.
We'll just have to like get together these recipes and like try them out, see if they work.
But in the meantime, Pam's lemon bars, send them. I want them. I'd like us to talk about best location shoot. Which, it's an interesting year for location shoots because, it depends on how you location shoots used to be these, grand international things. Now some of them are outside in the parking lot. And on that note, my favorite location shoot was in the parking lot at Burbank at ABC Studios for the whole General Hospital Carnival thing. I really thought that was well done. I thought the cinematography was the setup was great, and I really thought the carnival thing made great use of the lighting and the actors. I enjoyed it.
They did look lovely. I loved seeing them out in the natural light because General Hospital has really harsh lighting on their indoor sets, and seeing all these actors in the bright light, you were like, oh, they're lovely. I mean, not that they're not lovely on the inside, but like sunlight does wonderful things for people.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually something you notice watching something like Guiding Light or As the World Turns when they're outside. You're like, it's just great to see them out there, and and getting to see that on GH was definitely cool.
It was a treat.
Yes, but I actually thought my favorite location shoot was Orlando. With the Guiding Light people at Universal Studios. I thought that was it looks like so much fun. And really Ron Raines getting splashed constantly, and it was just so cute and so much fun, and everyone looked like they were having a blast, and made me want to go, to Florida.
If a good location shoot makes you want to do it, then
That's right.
It's a good location shoot.
I'm really sad I didn't get to go to Orlando. I got invited to go. I had a bat mitzvah. I knew right away.
Roger, I didn't know. Congratulations!
I'm now
You're a woman. Why didn't you share this with us earlier this year?
So I was
Mazel tov.
very sad I couldn't go, but the location shoot I chose, and I consider location actually outside the norm. I did go to Greenville, South Carolina, on As the World Turns, because there were race cars. There were all kinds of scenery. The scenery I saw was mostly rain on my face, but I thought it was well done. I loved the story. I loved the sub-story of Mike Kasnoff and his wife and their struggles, because I thought that was the most realistic story on the show for the entire year.
Absolutely.
So, and I love the race car stuff at a real racetrack, and that was my favorite. As the World Turns. Most missed character of 2009. which character left a gaping hole in their show by not being around?
I don't know. I didn't miss anyone.
I chose someone who's actually coming back for a day or two in 2010. Brooke English and All My Children, just because the show had zero heart the whole year, and I just thought if Brooke had been there, she would have added so much to the show. The soaps don't value characters like that, but I feel like she was a huge missing piece of the show that I didn't enjoy that much during the year.
We're actually on the same plane, Roger, because my first reaction to this was Hart. I miss Hart on General Hospital and All My Children, but my specifically most missed character would be Bobby Spencer.
Aw,
Technically, she
yeah.
was on a few times over the past year, but she's not really. The Bobby Spencer we know, that fiery, zesty, tough woman, nurse, you know, complicated woman is gone, and I feel sad about that. So I miss her a lot.
I think Blackie Parrish's presence is needed on General Hospital. That's who I miss. Isn't it time for him to get out of jail? I mean, my God, he didn't even mean to kill Lou. He just, she hit her head. So free Blackie Parrish and get him back on General Hospital.
We need t-shirts.
Yes, we need free Blackie Parrish t-shirts. That's what I missed. I mean.
He probably has some illegitimate son who's working for Sonny that we just haven't.
Probably.
We don't know about yet.
You know, no, all the illegitimate children are Sonny's.
Yeah. That's right. Okay, Mala, what's our next category?
Good question. Best kiss.
And?
I think my vote's gotta go with Kyle and Oliver in the alley behind the Buenos Dias Cafe on One Life to Live. I just thought it was a great moment, and it was just the combination of so much angst and drama and torment, and it was one of those great first on-screen kisses for a couple where they just, you know, where he just pounced him because he was so he wanted to convince him, and it just, oh, it was great. I can't even describe it. We should just flash a clip of them doing it, you know. And
That's too expensive. We can't afford those prices. We can't afford clips.
yeah. We could reenact. Okay, you can reenact it. I'll be Christian. And I'll walk in on you.
I thought about that kiss because I was trying to think what kisses do we really have this year that had an impact? Because in 2008, Luke and Noah kissed and ended a kissing ban. Like there were some big moments, but I couldn't think of monumental kisses. And I thought Kyle and Fish was too short. If that kiss had gone on about 30 to 100 more seconds, I could have maybe. But I went Bo and Nora because that kiss had an impact for the story at Nora's wedding the day before. So Bo and Nora.
Well, we all chose One Life to Live. I also said Kyle and Fish, but not the one you're talking about, on their date. And for a different reason. I thought that kiss was interesting, but it really was more, I don't want to say violent, but it was aggressive. It had a message to it. The kiss they shared on their date in Kyle's room on the bed
that was
pretty
kiss.
hot and heavy.
Okay, you're right.
A little woo, for daytime, and it was great. And it was really more because they were both kind of giving in, and it
That's
wasn't
true.
a struggle. It was like a real kiss they both were consenting to.
I'm an angst junkie.
So,
I'll pick an angsty kiss any day.
Wow! See, that was good. Was that good?
Your beard tickles.
That was good. Maybe that'll get on the basket.
But that was a great kiss of, in the room with the candles and everything.
Yeah.
We are going to do a special on indie soaps and web series, so maybe a Kiss from Marlon web series will make it.
Okay, I want to discuss the best favorite comeback this year. Who was your favorite comeback? For me, there was no contest, there was no question. Seeing Carly back on Days of Our Lives could have gone, it had so much potential to go wrong, but it has gone, in my opinion, so right. She's being integrated into the stories, she has her own story, I'm loving it. The history is being played out from 16 years ago, everything about it so far is spot on good.
Have they mentioned Nicholas?
Yes, they did.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, they did mention Nicholas.
Yes, and the fact that he's the same age as Carly. Now they used to go to high school.
They have yet to play the fact that Nicholas and Kate had an affair, but Carly and Kate were never that close anyway, so we'll see.
Right.
But
For me, I picked Grant Alexander's Philip on Guiding Light
Yeah.
because if you watched Guiding Light in 2008, it wasn't very good. And what really would have helped when they went to the new production model was for that to have been Philip's first day. Because he immediately fit back in with all the characters all over the canvas. We got a Four Musketeers high school reunion, even though there was no 80s music.
I mean, please.
His relationship with Alan, the last week, the scene where Alan died, there's just so many things between Philip and Beth, Philip and Alan, Philip and Rick. So many great moments, and that character was missed so much that I was so happy to have him back, so I'm going with Philip.
I had a tough time with this because I was like, what kind of comeback are we talking about? You know, like comeback in what sense?
Whatever it means to you.
Yes, so I went with, the first person that popped into my head was Don Diamont, coming back, you know, like basically 5 minutes after they killed off Brad on Y&R, as Bill on B&B, and he was just such a dynamic character, and he changed like the feel of that entire canvas, and that character is just so powerful and commands such presence, and it was just so much fun. So that's kind of what I went with, not necessarily the character, but with the actor being able to make a comeback in a completely different role that is so different from Brad on Y&R. I mean, it's just.
Well, he actually did come back to Y&R.
Oh, that's
when
true.
Colleen died in the water.
Oh.
But yours is more of like a best walk across the hall to a different show.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know.
Best comedic performance. This one was tough because some of the comedy is a little slapsticky for me. Like I love Trent Dawson, but I don't love slapstick. Even though last week when he's like fighting with him, Brad's ghost, and there's nobody there, that was pretty hilarious. And I love Ally Mills on Bold and Beautiful. Thought she was really funny. But I have to, in my heart, go with Eileen Kristen as Roxy because sometimes it's really crazy and out there, but she always makes it work. And sometimes it's subtle. It's not always just in your face. She's just a funny person in general. That character is funny and quirky. So that's all Eileen. So Roxy.
I had to go, same show, different person, Tuck Watkins, One Life to Live. I just feel like he's funny just walking in the door. You know, he's,
Really? Is your door on Wisteria Lane?
Why, do I look like a desperate housewife? But it was actually a tie between Tuck and Trent Dawson. I just think that they're consistently funny, no matter what kind of material they're given, and they also manage to inject a little bit of heart into it, and especially, you know, given the situations. I thought Tuck did some of his most heartfelt comedic work with Chanel Edmonds' Destiny. I thought they were just a beautiful little comic team, and it was a different side to David's, humor, and I really appreciated that. And similarly, we've seen a different side to Henry's humor and his funniness when he's been working with Ghost Brad. And I just feel like they both had kind of like, they were both the same funny characters and actors that we're used to, and yet they both kind of did different things this year. So I really appreciated that from both of them.
For me, although Eileen Kristen is so there, this year particularly, I gotta hand it to Robin Strasser, because in a year of gay weddings and blowjobs, she has rocked every single time, making sort of out there situations seem, or not so out there situations seem really funny.
Even on her hotline.
Even on her hotline, even on her knees, she has made everything work.
Was that this year?
That was this year. Yeah, it was earlier this year.
I blocked it out.
she makes it work, and especially the whole Amelia wedding when Dorian when she started having this idea and was kind of almost tricked into it, but you could see the wheels turning in her head, and just the way she balances this whole like charade, it's funny. I love it. Keep it going.
Favorite individual episode? How's that?
Okay.
Mine would have to be the death of Anne on The Bold and Beautiful. I just thought it was one of the best single episodes of soap this year. It was beautiful. I'm kind of a sap anyhow, but I cried like a baby. It was so emotional, and not only that, B&B also made it was an all-women show. Not a single man appeared in the episode. And it was like quintessential soap. It was just mothers and daughters, and focusing on grief and letting go, and it was beautiful. It was, it just stands out for me, and it better be on their Emmy reel for next year.
I kind of cheated. I went with a whole week. The week of Frank and Ty's wedding on Guiding Light, all 5 episodes are about the wedding, or that was the primary focus, and it was like the culmination of like a year of Olivia and Natalia finally coming together and admitting their feelings, and I hadn't felt that way about a soap in years, where I was so drawn into the couple, and I mean, I've liked couples, but they really built this up so slowly and so well. I felt like it was such a huge moment, and every day I was like dying to get to the next day, and it was so well done. So, you know, the Thursday, Friday episodes of that week, it was like early March, my favorites of the whole year.
Yeah, you know, I was actually, so for me I was really torn between that, at the graveyard, at Gus's grave, when Olivia confesses her love. That tied, I guess, I'm going to cheat here because I have to tie it with Dorian and Amelia's wedding and the whole gay wedding episode where Fish stood up to the protesters and came out, and you know it ended with the two kissing and everyone gathering around them, and Eileen Kristen as Roxy telling off the protesters and kissing Jackie Hoffman. It was such a beautiful, inspiring episode and such a great example of what soaps are capable of doing when they set their minds to telling an emotionally deep and politically relevant storyline. It just was beautiful. I was very impressed. Speaking of stories, let's talk about most inspiring story. We've named a lot of them so far, but the one that I actually found most inspiring, you may surprise you, as a therapist and as someone who just really enjoys inspiring stories, Jack's Never Surrender to Her on As the World Turns really moved me on a lot of levels. It was a tale about grief, it was a tale about guilt, it was a tale about redemption, and it really brought some of the best things that As the World Turns did this year, including Mike's disability story, which was probably the most realistic thing I saw this whole entire year, because that reminded me of real people that I know. But seeing Jack go through these layers of grief and horror at his actions, and try to redeem himself by helping other people, and along the way, every step, just kind of helping other people, I thought was a really wonderful message, and a message that made a lot of sense and inspired me. So that's my most inspiring story.
Well, for me, I mean, there were lots of them. I mean, the coming out on One Life to Live, I think that stuff, I've kind of been through that. I kind of went through it with Luke Snyder, but those stories mean a lot to a lot of people. So I know for a lot of people that was inspirational. I picked Tracy giving Victor Colleen's heart on Young and the Restless, just because she had every reason to hate his guts, and she was a better human being than everybody else there, and she rose above it all and did what she thought was right for another human being. So I thought, she's one of my favorite actresses ever, and that was very inspiring that she was such a person above it all and did what she thought was the right thing in the end.
Excellent. Did anything inspire you, Mala?
Mala's all bitter. She's not inspired.
I'm bitter and old and crabby. No. I was definitely inspired by, Fish's coming out story, One Life to Live, and by Jack's Never Surrender tour. I mean, I was fixed to my TV during that entire tour. During every location, and with him and Carly and everyone they ran into, and I thought it was so moving. And another story that's really inspiring me right now, it's actually playing out as we speak, or okay, not like at this minute, but like it's playing out right now in the soapverse, and that's Sandy's story on The Bold and the Beautiful. It's the layers of the onion are still being peeled away, so viewers are still getting to kind of find out what's going on with her. But I just feel like Sarah Brown is playing so evocatively a woman in trauma that it's just something that I think a lot of women can relate to. And I've spoken to her about it as well at length. And just talking to her about it honestly inspired me. Like just talking to her about women who go through crisis and some of the things we've spoken about that are coming up for Sandy just really moved me. And I really hope that people watching B&B and watching this story kind of feel the same way, because I think it's really powerful.
Awesome. See, that's good. That's good to know that soaps still can do this. They can still move us, even us jaded, bitter old people. We can still be moved by stories. That's encouraging.
Right. That's right.
Favorite trend?
Babies in hats.
You mean at the same time?
Yes. Babies in hats.
Babies in hats.
In hats.
Okay.
Yes.
Examples.
Babies in hats, like Henry on Guiding Light. He had a great array of hats, and he looked adorable in them. Delia on Y&R has a fetching set of hats, and she looks very cute. She, and unfortunately this week on As the World Turns, baby Jacob had a really just unfortunate hat. I don't think Simon's a very good hat buyer. He may be a great diamond thief and an expert babysitter, but he really has no taste in clothes for babies.
Sydney has some cute ones too.
Sydney has cute hats as well. Yeah. So that's my favorite trend.
Wow. I mean, there are lots of, one real life trend is out actors.
Yes.
Last year at this time, nobody was out. We know there are gay people in the business, but nobody really talked about it. And this year we had Clementine Ford, Scott Evans, Nick Rodriguez, all of these people, Tom Beards, talking about being gay, what it means to their life, how it's impacted their careers, and really being out there to inspire people. So I love that trend, but I picked web soaps because with one show off the air and one show getting canceled in daytime, to have all of these shows like Empire, Gotham, Venice, all these web soaps, and we probably covered about 30 of them this year on our website. That's a great trend to me. They may not all last, they may not all be amazing, but there's a lot of passionate people about soaps who want to still produce them.
Right.
Clearly, we need to combine this and have a baby in a hat held by an out actor on a web soap.
And I'm sure they'll do that.
Yes.
Well, my favorite has to do with same-sex smooching. Because there's been more of that on daytime this year than ever before, starting with Nuke last year, but continuing with As the World Turns. Nuke and Loa this year. I did it again. Nuke. Am I telling you, I always get started. Okay.
Luke and Noah.
Luke and Noah.
There you go.
Because they're so intertwined for me. Because of all the same-sex smooching, I guess. Them.
They started the year having sex for the first time.
Right.
That was a big moment.
That's
We didn't
right.
see them in the bed, but we saw them take each other's shirts off and have sex, and it was the first time that two guys had really kind of gone at it on a soap
Right.
in any way.
Right. Plus, we had Bianca and Reese on All My Children at the beginning of the year.
Right.
Let's not forget how that started. I like the way it
Right.
started. We had, of course, the Couples in One Life to Live that we've been talking about. Unfortunately, we did not have it on Guiding Light, but we do have it on Venice. And I know we're not really talking too much about indie soaps, but Venice has already given us a lot of smooching. So it's all good, and it's a trend I want to see continue. As soon as Franco and Jason on General Hospital get to it, you know it's going to be on.
That would have just made it all better. If only, Jason turned down his chips and dips. If he had just puckered up, Franco would have been okay.
Well, I think Franco wanted him to pucker up a lot more than just... Anyway.
Best recast.
Who wants to start?
I had a tough time with this one because there's lots of people. It's like, what do you consider a recast? Because if a teen actor comes on as a character you saw who was 5 years old last week, is that a recast or is it just a sore-assing? There's a fine line. To me, recast means somebody was playing the part not that long ago and somebody's taking it over.
That's what I would say.
So there were a lot. I just picked Lindsay Hartley because I thought she fits right in on day. She was a good choice. That character to me was meaningless, but as soon as she started playing the character, I actually started paying attention and caring about her. And it was kind of interesting to see all these Passions people reunited on the same show.
Yeah.
So I went with Lindsay Hartley.
That's a good one. I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh yeah. I was over in CBS land, so since I was trapped in CBS land and not looking at Salem, I went with Sarah Glendening as World Turns Lucy. Technically it was 2008 December that I think she came on, but I really just liked her from what we saw of her, and I wanted more of her. And I was really sad that they wrote her out because I felt like, she physically looked like, the other actresses in the Snyder family. And I think she just really encompassed the character as a mature adult and a believable med student doctor or whatever Lucy is after her super expanded uber med school experience, and she had and she had chemistry with great chemistry with her co-stars and with the little kid who plays Johnny, and I just really liked her and I wanted her to stay on as Lucy and keep playing that character out.
Adam Mayfield as Scott on All My Children. I consider that a recast because it had been played by an adult before. And I just think he's doing such a great job of adding depth and sensitivity to a character that to me had been pretty ill-defined before. And anyone, Okay, I'm just gonna say, anyone in this year who can make All My Children interesting or profound for me gets major awards. And I think he really made some of the material he was given relevant and interesting. So I'm all with Adam Mayfield on this one. I want to talk about worst trend. We talked about favorite trend. What's our least favorite trend?
Daytime soaps getting canceled?
Yeah, I think that would be my least favorite trend.
Yeah, I would say that. I also just, for me, the least favorite trend is, in opposite of what we were saying before about our favorite trend, is the open homophobia that has been discussed in this past year. You know, an actor on Young and the Restless walked out allegedly because of a story where he was uncomfortable with a gay issue. Patricia, I'm going to say her name wrong. The woman who played Carlotta on One Life to Live has been very open in the media about her discomfort with Carlotta's take on gay people on One Life to Live. And it's just, it's come on, it's 2009, who needs it?
Well, I mean, I was kind of, you know, daytime soaps getting canceled was like an easy choice. For me, and this was one that will be close to Mala's heart because she writes about it like every week, the continued lack of diversity in daytime in general, not just homophobia, but I mean, can you imagine like a dark-skinned black man with Emily Stewart? Like it would never, ever happen. They would rather have cousins have sex and date than have like interracial couples in some of these shows or gay people having sex. So that's still pretty disturbing to me.
Yeah.
And it just, it's a trend that's been going forever.
Well put.
Yes.
I'm with you, Roger. I mean, that was really well put.
That's pretty much true.
Yeah.
Like, the lack of diversity is like pretty much, my least favorite trend. Like, we should be diversifying more. I mean, you know, One Life to Live should be right now like a, not blueprint. Maybe that is the word I'm looking for. But, you know, for other shows or a roadmap, you know, look at this and kind of like, look at what they're doing and integrating their cast and follow it. You know, just do it. You know?
Right. Yeah. Then you can have Snoop Dogg on your show.
That's right. I think that should be that should be a goal for next year. So to get Snoop Dogg on every show.
So the trend is like movie actors or singers begging to appear on a soap.
Yes.
Or Mary J. Blige, because I mean she was on One Life to Live, but she did. I mean, not this past year, but it's still like. But she does the theme song to Young and the Restless in her song No More Drama. So doesn't she belong on Young and the Restless at some point? Like, so she can really do her song No More Drama with the Young and the
Snoop
Restless?
is going to go on YNR and sing the One Life to Live theme song.
Okay. Okay.
I think Snoop should just make a visit to every show. I think that'd be awesome.
I want Pat Benatar back too. Okay.
So, silly category, sexiest performance.
I went with Brandon Beamer because he's naked in every scene. If you're going to give it to somebody, I mean, and kind of for several months now, that's basically been all he's done. It's just like, put on a skimpy outfit and whatever.
It's kind of like the running joke on the show now, and it's kind of hilarious that, like, you know, Jackie M keeps trotting him out half naked to, like, peddle their products.
So I don't know what it says about the character or his career or whatever, but in terms of me thinking something sexy, I kind of find it hot.
Mala?
I had to go with One Life to Live and Ford and the Bucket. I mean, whenever I think of, like, just gratuitous, like, completely plotless gratuitous sexiness, it would have to be this random young man who was, like, a recurring character on the show, whipping off his shirt in the middle of the heat and, like, just, like, you know, wetting himself with a bucket, you know, water from a bucket as Langston watches with, like, her jaw unhinged. And it was just hysterical because, you know, I was fascinated, and then I started laughing because it was so cheese-tastically awesome. Like, it was the kind of thing you wanted to rewind over and over because it was so cheesy and yet, like the Lucky Vannis Diet Coke commercials. Do you remember that?
Oh my God, yes I do.
That's what it reminded me of.
Or they just like had all shirtless and sweaty and
yes, and there's like the Diet Coke break and all the women are like lining up at the window to watch him. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of, and I just thought it was hysterical, and I'm glad he's back, and I really hope the Bucket comes back too.
Then he went on Wings, didn't he? He did the same thing on Wings.
Oh, Lucky Vannis? Yeah.
What
I was like Ford?
Was he ever on The Bold and the Beautiful?
Lucky Vannis?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to look that up.
We have to look that up. For some reason, I think he was like on The Bold and the Beautiful.
Yeah,
But
for a second, I was like, who, the kid who plays Ford? Because I don't think he was born when Wings was on.
No, Lucky Vannis. Oliver Fish, I just think is the sexiest thing in daytime right now. Just in his cup outfit, and when he's not in his cop outfit and
Aww.
when he's getting drunk and impregnating young women and he's just,
You think that's
you know.
sexy?
Well, yeah.
Therapist heal that.
Anything that gets him unclothed
Okay.
is sexy. Not necessarily impregnating Stacy, but, you know, just the whole scenes that followed that. Whereas I think it's, yeah, it works. We're just gonna go with, who was the most ruined character for you in 2009?
I gotta say Aiden Devane on All My Children.
Yeah.
I just feel like Aiden was one of Soap's last best heroes. You know, the total stand-up guy who just would never do anything wrong and was just always there for the women in his life. I mean, he was Lily's boyfriend. Lily's sweet, kind boyfriend who, like, you know what I mean? Like, I will
Yeah.
always remember him for that. And then you've got this character who's, like, roughing up, you know, was it roughing up Green? No, roughing up Annie to help her fake her death. And then just going completely off the rails, you know, with Kendall. This
Wait, I thought he was nice to Annie.
No, but they did this whole thing where he faked, he helped, it's when she ran off with Emma.
Oh.
Was that like last year? I don't know. It's all running together, but like that for me, that was like the beginning of the end, when he and Annie were kind of scheming against Ryan and Green.
Right.
And I was just like,
He helped her with all that.
yeah, he helped her with all of that, and that was just weird.
Yeah.
And then
He shot her.
Did
Like,
he? Yeah.
she agreed to it, but that was part of their whole ruse, was that he
it,
shot her.
it was all weird. And then like this fall with him and Kendall, and like just
Yeah.
going completely psycho. And like kidnapping her and keeping her away from Zach and all that nonsense. I'm like, this is not Aiden Devane. This is not our sweet, honorable hero who's, you know, Anna, who's related to Anna Devane, who was like one of the most awesome characters of all time. But I digress. So yeah, for me, what they did to Aiden was just sad.
I said Gradium Guy Might. He was really the best character on Soaps in 2008. I'm kidding. I actually said Aiden too, and I needed to say something.
You can agree.
I said Aiden just because I love Aiden and I
Yeah.
Turner and I like the character. I mean, because most characters that are featured on Soaps are like thugs, mobsters, or evil, and so you know Aiden had fairly good qualities, and then they just completely trashed it at the end. It's such lazy writing, and he could have just left
You
town.
could just left town.
You know, or kill him off as a hero, but not this.
Yeah.
Well, the irony of the show moving to LA, where they could have had crossovers with General Hospital, and he could have like hung out with his cousin Robin.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's just like, oh well, he's a lunatic. Darn.
I almost chose Lily on As the World Turns because I just think this has been a bad year for Lily. But I went with Philip on Young and the Restless because I think this character has been ruined beyond redemption. To fake your death, fine. You know, what sub character hasn't faked their death at one time or another, whatever. But to knowingly and intentionally not only hurt your family, but to come back and rub their noses in it over and over again and justify why they're so unreasonable and homophobic that they deserved what they got. How does one do that? I mean, I just think that there were a lot of misfires in that story, and that the character of Philip, unfortunately, although being heroic and being one of the only outgate characters, is really just ruined beyond anything that I could manage to be entertained by. It's hard to say.
I kind of forgave him. I think he faked his death because Brenda Dixon left the role of his mother.
And Jess Walton's clothes weren't as nice.
Yeah, and they like shared shoulder pads and stuff, and so
Yeah. I just was so disappointed by that.
yeah, it was a failure. And Trisha Cast did her damnedest to make that compelling,
Mm-hmm.
but even like the best actors in the business couldn't save it.
Yeah.
Because they just wrote it so bad. I mean, he didn't perform it that well, but they just wrote it. It's like he just wasn't sorry.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, to hurt the main character is fine, but and one could be forgiven for that, but to be proud of what you did,
Yeah.
you just don't mess with Kay Chancellor like that. You don't. Okay, so speaking of being negative, I'm going to stay on the negative train here. Who is the largest waste of talent this year in 2009? Whose talent was the most underutilized or unused in this past year, in your opinions?
I picked Elizabeth Hubbard, and she's one of many people. I just think she's one of the best actresses ever on soaps, and she went and got a job on a Dutch soap, so that she could actually work. So she went out and sought a different job just so that she could actually act because she's desperate to act, and so I named her specifically because she actually went and got another acting job on a soap, but she's also going to appear on Gotham, so she's now going to work on multiple soaps because she's not used on her primary show, which I guess is the same thing for Leslie Kay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, so I was also going to say anyone over 50 on As the World Turns, but I went more specifically with Kathy Breyer on One Life to Live. She is a phenomenal talent. She's such a great actress. She's such a dynamic personality. She gave Marcy so much heart, and she's gone. For that, she was fired. So I miss Kathy Breyer. I miss Marcy on One Life to Live, and I hope that her talent is utilized somewhere else if it's not going to be utilized in Lambu. So let's talk about our favorite female character this year. What about you, Roger? Favorite female character
I'm
in
going to say
2009?
Maggie Horton. She almost got my Best Comeback Award because she's been disappeared forever.
We love
she's a
Maggie.
True supporting actress. We've talked about it over and over, but for me, that's the primary reason why I enjoy Days of Our Lives. I mean, there's all these great things. I mean, the baby story played out over time, and we got a great payoff, and Crystal Chappelle returned, but just seeing Maggie Horton every day in a significant way meant the world to me, and so she's definitely my favorite character of the year.
I feel the same, but actually my favorite character this year had to be Olivia on Guiding Light. And I say that because, not only because I love Crystal Chappelle, but I just think the character, her inner torment and her confusion and her ultimate determination to not be afraid and go after what she wanted, I think, again, was so inspiring and speaks volume kind of to the triumph of the human spirit, which is the stuff that I love on soaps. I love that, and even after getting seriously burned and hurt, where many of us might give up and just say enough, she continued to fight for Natalia and who she wanted and what she wanted, and I think that's a great message, and I think Crystal Chappelle did a great, wonderful job of portraying that. So Olivia, who is no longer with us on the soap canvas, but she must still be one of my favorites.
Yeah, mine too, actually. I just feel like Olivia, the evolution of the character for the entire time she was on, I mean, it just culminated in such a wonderful payoff for her. For those of us who've been watching Guiding Light, I mean, God bless everyone who came in for Otalia, really. I mean, that was great, especially the last couple of years of the show. They needed that push. But for those of us who were watching before that and have watched her fail at love with men so many times, and her desperate need to be loved, and to watch her finally get that payoff with someone she completely didn't expect, I gotta say, was just amazing. And she's so cynical, Olivia, and has such a hard shell around her, and to watch her open up the way she did this year was amazing, and definitely just the way she became so open to love and to passion and to being hurt after everything she's been through was definitely great, and yeah, definitely my favorite character of the year as well.
Yeah. How about favorite male character?
I gotta say, my favorite male character, or one of my favorite male characters on Daytime, came back this year. That was Simon Fraser on As the World Turns. I have always loved Simon. There is something about, just the irrepressible jewel thief that just charms me. I think it's just a trope I like in fiction.
I'm stealing your jewels.
Yeah, steal my jewels. Yeah, I think it's just something I like in fiction, like that debonair thief.
You like the accent too, right?
Oh yeah, I love the accent.
Okay.
Paul Layton's a great guy. He's a fun actor, and just when he came back in the role this year, it was just like there was a spark with his co-stars. It was like the return in 2006. They didn't dismiss the bad parts, but they capitalized on the good parts and kind of took the last few things that Simon has done and kind of paid homage to the fact that he does love Katie, and that's one of his redeeming qualities. And I loved that, and I'm really glad to see him back, and I'd love to see him bonding with Katie's son, Jacob, because we know how I feel about babies. So that helped.
And learn how to buy him a nice hat.
Yes, yeah, he does need to learn how to buy him a nice hat, but we'll work on that. That's his goal for 2010. That and Bill Spencer. I love Bill Spencer on B&B. I just feel like he's probably one of the best new characters in Daytime this year, and was just dynamic in every way and awesome and commanding.
Awesome.
I guess I'll say Oliver Fish, just because I like to see characters go on a journey. We don't know where he's going to go in future years, but this year we did see him go on a big journey, from dealing with sexuality, dealing with his parents, coming out. So I loved it. I thought the actor did a great job, Scott Evans, and I like seeing a character go from point A to point B and really open up a whole new life for himself.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say this year, for me, it was actually easier to think of my favorite male performance than female, which is unusual. I'm usually really taken by the females, but I think the men this year really turned in some amazing, amazing performances. So I have to say my runner-ups, because it was very hard for me to decide. Buzz on Guiding Light, and what he went through with Coop's death tore my heart out. Dr. Bob on As the World Turns, losing his memory, even though it turned out to be a very easy solution, but his whole process of realizing that he was cognitively losing his mind, like losing his memory and making mistakes, was heartbreaking, and I will never get over. If we had a category for best tearjerker, it would be Dr. Bob sitting in the mall with ice cream dripping down his arm, because I literally cried. But overall, the best performance of the year, my favorite character, has to go to Jack on As the World Turns. And if you had asked me a year ago, I would have said no way, because I've never been a huge fan of the character of Jack. But after 12 years, there has been something very different for this person. The writing and the actor have brought a whole new force of energy and life to this character, starting, throughout the year being married to Janet and sort of being there in a supporting role, kind of being very, going through Carly and her whole drinking problem, intervention stuff. But what he has brought as far as now going through his own moral dilemma of having accidentally shot his brother and killed his brother, and his whole, this rocks this man's entire world. Everything that he knew to be true is gone, and he's trying to just rebuild some pieces of his life. And he's messing up as he's doing it. And I like that even more, because he's making a lot of mistakes along the way. He's treating Janet horribly. And he's making some really poor choices, but it's a realistic view of a man who is totally going through a crisis. And I think Michael Park and the writing is just first rate. I'm loving it. So
Wow.
Jack is my favorite male character of 2009.
I wanted to say Guy Mike, because it just meant a lot to me, the whole thing, and maybe the way they shoot it, it just felt even more personal, because you're right in their faces. And just, we talked about Justin Dees, Grant Alexander, Kim Zimmer, Crystal Chappelle, all these people just poured their heart and soul into it, and you really could feel it. But I just felt, around May, it kind of went off track a little bit, and then at the end it got back on track, but it sort of, I don't know if it was the cancellation news or what happened, but it sort of went off track, and we didn't get the Otalia payoff after that was the most hyped story of the year. So I went with One Life to Live. It's the most diverse show. You got to give, if I was ranking categories, diversity would be one of the categories. You want good writing, good directing, all of these things. But to me, the fact that you make an effort, you try to put out a positive message in some of these stories, and you have a diverse cast, I just think it was the most consistent. I think every single show was inconsistent, but some were really inconsistent, 99% of the time, whereas One Life to Live was the most consistent show day to day. You could get some entertainment vibe out of it, whether it's dramatic or funny or whatever. So One Life to Live.
And I'll say, I also had a hard time with this because every show got off track this year. Every show, there was for me, even One Life to Live had some really bad months. Every show had their highs and every show had their lows, so this was a very bipolar clinical year for the soaps. The show that I thought really hit it out of the park the best was Days. They got way off track at the beginning of the year, but boy, what a second half of the year did they come back. They came back with great performances, really stepped up a notch in their writing so that people were intelligent, that some of the longer term characters seemed to grow and learn from their past mistakes. They constantly refer to the history of the show. And I think the writing and everything's just kind of come together in these last few months to tell some very, very powerful stories. And I'm very excited to see what's going to happen next year. Days of Our Lives is it for me.
I loved One Life this year, and it won me back after the Todd and Marty stuff last year that I like to pretend didn't happen.
You're so good at that. That didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
Buddhist. That didn't happen.
Buddhist storyline didn't happen.
Ray-Bans.
Todd and Marty didn't happen. Ray-Bans. There wasn't Ray-Bans. There wasn't Ray-Bans.
There were no Buddhists.
No, that's right. No Buddhist Ray-Bans. No, but I really did love One Life to Live this year. But especially the diversity factor and how much they knocked it out of the park with Kyle and Fish, and just had such an integrated canvas, and Bo and Nora, and just so much awesomeness. But having said that, I gotta go with B&B, because for me it was the most consistent soap of the year. It it just gave 110% in terms of over the top, awesome classic soapiness. I just feel like it was great. It was emotional. There was a bunch of weddings, and just a couple of key deaths like Anne's, and it just like had everything going for it. Not to mention all the wacky photo shoots and Brandon Beamer putting it all out there and
Pam's catwalk dance.
And Pam's catwalk dance.
Pam's catwalk
That's
dance.
right.
Love it.
Meow.
Are you gonna do it for us?
I don't know Pam's catwalk.
Oh, come on.
That was my version of the catwalk dance. It was the city with the hand.
If you want to see Mala do Pam's catwalk dance, let us know.
Right in.
Yeah, you have to pay me to do Pam's catwalk dance. But yes.
Good.
Thanks everyone. That was the best and some of the not so best of 2009. We're going to put all of this online on our website.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for looking at We Love Soaps, and we can't wait to do this again next year. Take care.
See you guys.